Gonzo playing the second New Zealand on the left-hand side in red. Playing balance. Is that... No, that's Juggernaut. He's playing Juggernaut Income versus Jack on the right-hand side, playing the first Ski Jaeger on balanced. Wow. When was the last time we saw... I don't think I've ever cast a Steel Division League game where we were playing Juggernaut. The only player I can think that played a Juggernaut game was US Presser John. And he kind of got... Unfortunately... He got a bit ridiculed for playing Juggernaut because I don't think he won with Juggernaut, and the players took the mick out of him, which is not the best approach. But hey, it happens. So let's move over and have a look at Gonzo's deck. I've just got to bring it up on screen so I can see it. Second New Zealand on Juggernaut. Who'd have thunk it? I suppose it is Juggernaut versus Balance, so Gonzo must have known the balanced income before he chose Juggernaut. The players do get to... I don't know the exact ins and outs of the kind of choices that they get to make. They get to make, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jack picked balanced income and then Gonzo picked Juggernaut as a counter income pick. So in terms of the deck itself, we got a double C-Phase card of Oplites, C-Phase card of Shermans, and that's it for C-Phase. So all you kind of Juggernaut team players out there, you might laugh at this Juggernaut deck, but yeah, it's mostly really, it looks like a balanced deck with an extra C-Phase card of Infantry. So like maybe the B-Phase card removed, or a card somewhere removed and put into C-Phase. It's out of that, we've had some recent changes on the Spitfires. I think they became a bit more expensive. Interesting for Gonzo to bring in the Kitty Hawk Mark II in A phase, only 105 points. That might be a recent change based on the change in aircraft prices. Plenty of 17-pounder and 6-pounders. Well, I say plenty. There's only 6 17-pounders. But Jack is playing the Ski Jaeger, so tanks is not really what Gonzo will be most worried about. Let's move over to Jack's division. First Ski Jaeger, balanced income. We see many more C-Phase cards. In fact, look at those C-Phase aircraft. Heinkel, 4 Heinkel 111s. We got a full C-Phase card of BF 109s and 6 Ju-87 cluster planes in C-Phase. So Jack looks to really be playing for a C-Phase heavy approach with the Nebelwerfers and the aircraft to try and kind of decimate Gonzo's forces from the skies, and I guess sort of from the skies with the rockets in C-Phase. It will be very interesting to see whether he can do that, because it might be quite enjoyable. That's a lot of planes. I actually want to just switch back and just have a look at Gonzo's deck again and just see what his AA is like. He's got 6 Bofors guns and only 2 kind of dedicated fighters. So I guess Jack might have the opportunity. Maybe he can get away with a... hell on earth kind of destruction from above in C-Phase, an arty party, as Reef puts it. Yeah, maybe. Right, let's get the game running and let's find out. Let's get things going. So as a recap, on the left-hand side in red, playing the second New Zealand on Juggernaut, we have Gonzo. And on the right-hand side in blue, we have Jack playing the first Ski Jaeger on balanced income. So if it was me, I'd be expecting like major action in the kind of city. I mean, that's where Ski Jaeger's best. That's where Jack looks to be putting most of his income. And Gonzo's trying to avoid that engagement, I think, which is probably the right approach, because I don't think the Oplites will be as good as the Ski Jaeger, although those Bren guns, they can fire within 100 meters. They are an automatic rifle, so they can still perform at CQC. you know, reasonably well. They can at least beat Panzergrenz and things like that, but I guess he's not really facing Panzergrenz, is he? We get the early Kitty Hawk call-in from Gonzo, going for the Pack 40. Smoke from Jack down south. And Jack's picked up both flags up north in that city. Let's drop down on the Kitty Hawk. Ooh, nice kill on the Pack 40. Definitely doing the job for 105 points. And called away again. Will Jack bring in some AA? He's lost his big AT weapon, but it's not as though that Pack 40 really was needed to kill anything, because right now there's nothing there. We do have a couple of Wolverines and Shermans that might head down. Looks like Gonzo's going heavy for the center. And Jack really doesn't have the units to stop that center push. Might be able to ambush it. I mean, he at least will know that that's coming, because the Ski Jaeger and the Pioneers are in advanced positions and able to push forward. Jack has the 1410 thanks to the positioning up north, but Gonzo did give up that flag. So if you watched those on Twitch chat, I just filmed a kind of tactical session where I said you really shouldn't be giving up flags. Gonzo clearly doesn't care about that. He's given up the flags in the city. Down south, will the Diggers Piat be able to take down the T-34? I think Jack saw it. Yep, he's definitely seen it, so he's backing that T-34 away. But he isn't able to take this southern hill. There's just too much infantry for the Jaeger Pioneers to go through. The T-34... There is a T-34-85 on the way. It's the 42 version, the captured 42 version retreats. I think the 17-pounder came into view. I have a feeling that's why it retreated. Will the 17-pounder get a shot off against the 85? Looks like it's in view. Here it comes. Ooh. How will Jack respond? Yeah, immediately on the reverse. Does have his mortar here with shells, so should get that firing on the 17-pounder ASAP, because if he can take that unit down, he has the tank advantage with the 85. He will face a Wolverine though, so the Wolverine can take out the 85, but the Sherman not going to be as good at doing the job. Jack has pulled the flag up north though with the advance of his infantry, and he's not going to be sitting back on these two flags. He's pushing forwards, and it looks like he may take the entire city and completely under his control. 14-10 on the board right now. He's got some Ski Jaegers moving around the corners in south, so it looks like Gonzo's really kind of given up the north, and he's just going to concentrate on the south. I do hear most players at the moment in the kind of higher levels of league really kind of rate this center hill. These two, this southern and the center hill, as being kind of the main. If you can control this center hill, that really kind of can provide you with a victory on this map. At least, maybe that's what I've picked up. I might not be right there, but I think certainly some players have said that. We do see some Shermans pushing forwards, although not really off the edge of the hill. The T-34-85 can engage at long range. It's just the Wolverine that he really has to worry about, but it hasn't stopped to engage. And now it does. That Wolverine, though, could take down this 85. Transmission damage won't worry Jack too much. The Wolverine's not really going for it, though. And he should... Sherman goes down, but he does get himself a nice hit there. Wolverine starts to engage. I think if the Wolverine gets one hit, the 85 will go down. Will the Wolverine get the hit? No. So I think on this engagement, the 85 will win it on this next shot. Oh, they trade with each other. The Wolverine just gets a second shot in time. We did miss the Kitty Hawk call-in up north. BF-109 chasers way behind enemy lines now. There is a Bofors sort of down south, but that's the only AA unit for Gonzo out on the field right now. Is this live or a replay? This is a replay. This was played a couple of hours ago for those of you in Twitch. I'm also recording this for anyone on YouTube as well to watch later. So if you are late to Twitch and you didn't quite catch the start and you want to see the start, then you can always watch later on in YouTube as well. Ski Jaeger's moving forwards over the open ground. I think Jack is really going to struggle to take these hills back. At least at the moment, as long as Gonzo kind of keeps it reinforced, he's going to struggle. Ski Jaeger's going to combine with the MG42. I think Gonzo needs to move back that Digger's Pier. I don't think it's going to survive 2-on-1. Although the Opolites do start to push forwards. So Gonzo is going to take the engagement. The Sturm Ski Jaeger can't fight both against each other right now, and I think the MP40s on those Sturm Ski Jaegers just definitely, as far as I'm concerned, not up to the task right now, and I feel like some changes need to be made. The 7-2 going down there, big loss for Jack on the southern side. I mean, it's not great AA. Ski Jaeger does suffer from a lack of good AA units, but you don't want to lose your AA. You definitely don't want to lose your AA. 14-10 to Jack right now, but he is losing a flag here courtesy of not having any units in the area. Gonzo has really destroyed a lot of units in this centre town. We haven't been keeping our eyes on the engagements, but yeah, there's definitely nowhere near the same amount of units that were in here a moment ago, and the tanks have gone down. I think one down here on the edge. And the Shermans right now reign supreme. Gonzo will have an easy time pushing back in here as long as those Shermans stick around. Gonzo's, despite being 14-10 down, is kind of holding real key positions right now on the map. So I don't think he's going to be too displeased with his performance so far in A phase, despite, you know, being down on flags. Kitty Hawk coming in once again. Looks like it's heading for the Pack 40, so Gonzo definitely trying to take down those Pack 40s as soon as he sees them. Should be a kill. Yeah, there it goes. BF 109 comes straight for it. Jack calls it away. So he doesn't want to chase that one. There is a Bofors gun in the area, so I think that's the right call. Again, Jack kind of starts to push up the hill. He has destroyed a few units here. Not really enough, but definitely has started to get himself the opportunity to push back into this southern forest. Ski Jaeger MG42s fighting Spandau Ballet up here on the top of the hill. Also an MG42. Ooh! Opal Blitz goes down there with a unit of Ski Jaeger in them from the 17-pounder on top of the hill. And that 17-pounder, it just takes away a key unit there. That unit was going to be used to kind of secure this forest. And I definitely think Jack could have done it just with that single unit. Could have had it in here and at least secured the flag. But now he's going to need more. And that 17-pounder, I mean, it needs to be taken down or it's going to do it all day long. The moment the MG42's firing at it, but Gonzo might be able to fall that back in time. The mortar firing at the Bofors gun. In comes a Spitfire, I think, to focus down on these MG42s. Up on the north, I think Jack has been able to reinforce his position, so he's not under as much threat as he was. BF 109 versus Spitfire. Looks like the Spitfire's going to go down. Yeah. Good kill from the BF 109 there. Jack doubling it up just for good measure. As we focus just back up on the northern side, the one trouble is all of the infantry units that Jack has does have AT on it, so the Shermans can't exactly get close. But I'm still kind of surprised Gonzo isn't pushing a little bit harder up here than he kind of has done. He's at least fought back for these two flags that Jack claimed earlier and does get himself a 12-12. Jack's covered off this flag here, and it's currently this one in the compound that's the deciding flag right now. I think earlier on I was calling a lead for Jack when actually I think it was Gonzo that was in the lead, so I may have been making a mistake there. Apologies if I was. T-3485 comes up to the top of the hill. I think one of them's already gone. Yeah, it was the trade with the Wolverine. So we've got an off-map 172 mil off-map biplane. Yeah, biplane coming in. Will it allow Gonzo to push back? The Kitty Hawk's chasing. There's no AA down here, so Jack needs to have his BF 109s in ASAP. Wow, the biplane does actually get out just in the nick of time. And it doesn't look like Jack's got his BF-109s. They must be back there rearming and refueling, because otherwise he would have called it out. There's no doubt about that. 17-pounder back in position, immediately bails out a T-34-85. I feel like Gonzo's made a lot of cash out of that 17-pounder. Double BF-109 now coming in, trying to strafe the 17-pounders as the off-map goes off as well. Down goes the 17-pounder at last, and the 109's evac out of there. Off-map comes in, but it looks like, I think some units have gone down, but Gonzo has managed to spread out his remaining units, and there's just not enough from Jack. Really able to push back in here. His ski Jaegers are just too late into kind of try and recapture the ground, so he's going to need another off-map. Up to the north, Gonzo bringing in more Opolites. And like I say, these Opolites, because they've got the Bren gun, they can fight in CQC combat pretty well. These LMGs can fire at 0 to 100 meters, no problems. Whereas the ski Jaegers with the LMG, the MG42, they cannot fire between 0 and 100 meters. So anytime an Opolite, like now, gets into close range, they're going to outmatch the ski Jaegers. So despite not really being meant for CQC, the Opolites are actually kind of a really good CQC unit right now. Gonzo taking full advantage, and just looking at the amount of units that he's got up here, backed up by Shermans, it looks like he is going to be able to push through this town. Especially with the Kitty Hawk coming in. I imagine that's going to go after the sniper. No, going after one of the Sturm ski Jaegers. Really missing there. So if you call in a unit back and you've got it on the fallback command, a lot of the damage being done is kind of is not being done, should I say. They do have kind of damage resistance when they're on when they are falling back, so be aware of that. You might want to bring that into your own game. If you don't fall units back, take advantage of it. If you see a plane coming in, aiming for that unit and you can fall it back, hit the fallback command, and the bombs won't do as much damage. It looks like Jack is starting to get a foothold back in this centre area, but I don't think he has enough units. A lot of it depends on this T-34-42, but he's still got the 6-pounders and the Shermans to go through. Off-map down south, he's finally going to get into the tree lines on the south. But is it going to be enough for Jack? He's 14-10 down now. We are 13 minutes into this game. We have the first Nebelwerfer onto the field, coming into the centre ground, I imagine, to hit this central area. The infantry's gone down. Just the T-34 kind of remaining, and these 6-pounders are going to push through to the edge of these tree lines and just hit this reinforcement road. And this down here as well, this reinforcement road. They're just going to stop reinforcements going in. So like I say, I think if you can get control of this hill and get some AT guns in these kind of positions, the enemy just can't get back in. Especially if you control this side as well. You know, it's just too tough for the enemy to bring in reinforcements. So that tree line really gives you a huge amount of control from the left side of this map. The 6-pounders do now start to get into the action. They are quite close range, but bail out a T-34-42. The other one is bound to go down there now to the 2 6-pounders and the Sherman. One of the 6-pounders actually firing at the T-34 that was bailed out. But finally they should go down. He does lose one of the 6-pounders there, so I think Gonzo did make a mistake there, not kind of focusing fire down on this T-34, considering the other two were bailed out. Looks like we got an off-map up north. Gonzo was able to push through. Spitfire might go down here, especially with 3 BF-109s now on the field. Jack still has a lot of C-phase units. Gonzo's trying to drag those BF-109s over the Bofors gun. Jack's too wise to fall for that. But Gonzo's still pushing forwards, and he's going to push forwards out of that off-map. one Sturm Ski Jaeger against 4 Opolites. That Ski Jaeger is going to go down, and actually if Jack doesn't unload it right now, it's going to go down. Ooh, does actually get pretty far forwards, but I guess he does need to unload within 300 meters to have that Sturm Ski Jaeger fire. Does take out one of the units, but is then suppressed and is going to go down. Nebelwerfer for attack onto the Bofors gun in the center. Ooh, does take out the Bofors gun, but look at those Maori. It's kind of, if they were only a little bit further back, that could have been devastation on a huge scale. Kitty Court Hawk comes in and bombs the Sturm Ski Jaeger there, but Jack has managed to pick up that position. Sherman pushing forwards, just going to pour on even more pressure to Jack right now. Has to find a way to destroy that Sherman. I don't know whether a unit's gone down here, but... Oh, there was a mortar in this area. So yeah, a mortar's gone down for sure. And I'm not sure what plane went down there. It was probably a BF-109, considering the 2 Bofors guns and the Spitfire. And down goes another BF-109. So I feel like Jack has lost some important planes in the last sort of minute or so in this game. Down goes the off-map as well. Gonzo kind of getting control of the skies right now. And Jack's whole strategy really appeared to be a C-phase pushback, or a C-phase kind of... arty party, or just huge devastation with the planes and the Nebelwerfers. But Gonzo taking control of the skies like that really just nullified Jack's kind of end control. And there we have it, 17 minutes, 18 seconds. Congratulations to Gonzo. Does win 2,000 kills to 870 losses. Convincingly so on the kind of kills to loss ratio, and he was Juggernaut versus Balanced, but yeah, that must have been a counter pick on the income. Commiserations to Jack. I think Gonzo's just such a tough player. I mean, probably the best player in the world at Steel Division 2. Not many people beat him when he's on top of his game. I don't think he's actually lost many Steel Division League games ever in his career. I mean, you can count... I reckon you could probably count on one hand the number of games he's actually lost in the Steel Division League. So there's no shame on losing to Gonzo at all. He gave up that town on the left-hand side, but he was able to take that centre hill. And I think that was holding that centre hill and the bottom hill as well. Just allowed him to kind of hit reinforcements early on, and Jack just never was able to get control of the south of the map, the central of the south. He was able to get into the city and control that from the start, but the south just never really looked under Jack's control at any point. Spitfire did get the double BF-109 kill at the end. Obviously helped out by the double Bofors on the ground. And that kind of just ended, like, Jack's strategy was all about those aircraft. So those BF-109 kills just kind of ended Jack's possibility of kind of continuing the game. So I understand why he surrendered at that point. His whole strategy, I wouldn't maybe necessarily say his whole strategy, but a huge part of his strategy was controlling the skies in sea phase. So just losing those planes kind of just ended his hopes. So I understand why he did surrender at that point. The Wolverine trained with the T-34-85 might have been quite a significant point. If that T-34-85 would have been able to stay alive, maybe Jack could have leveraged that in the center of the battlefield. But trading 1-for-1 with the Wolverine did allow Gonzo to kind of get reinforcements into the center of that battlefield before the before any kind of Jack reinforcements from Jack could get in there as well. So that could have been quite an important kill there for Gonzo, really, looking back on the game. Yeah, and in terms of Jack, he, apart from the Sturm Ski Jaeger here and the Ski Jaeger Pioneer, he didn't really pull off, too many kills out of that. Despite perhaps on paper, or certainly at the start of the game, or maybe when the second New Zealand got released, Opolites were kind of plentiful in numbers, but not necessarily amazing. Really, at the moment, the way I'm looking at infantry combat, these Western kind of rifles and hoplites are really good. With the Bren guns are really performing fantastically well. And I think it's all because they can hop into buildings next to, you know, German units with the MG42s and just destroy them, because they can fire those units at close quarters. I'm really not sure about these infantry changes. I just don't know whether they're right or not, whether they're good. Perhaps it's going to have to be kind of income. I don't think... Well, I'm pretty certain that Eugen aren't going to change things from what they are now. So I think it's going to be income, maybe price changes that come into effect now, because for the number of hoplites you can get, it just seems right now that their Bren gun is kind of overperforming these units compared to what they were designed to be, if that makes sense.